Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first ever special episode of the Fortune Tellers podcast. This is just kind of a one-off episode. There's nothing to review with SmackDown and Raw. We're recording this on a Sunday night. No pay-per-view this week. Royal Rumble is coming up, but we're just decided to jump on, maybe talk about a couple wrestling topics, maybe non-wrestling topics. Just kind of throw around throw around a different couple topics and just have a relaxing time. And if you guys just want to, just listen to us, you can join us live too. I think you can also leave a comment too if you want to, have us talk about anything specific. But once again, my name is Juffles, and I have Teebs here with me.
Hello there.
Yeah. So let's begin. We were actually just on Twitter. The wrestling news. It looks like Dean Ambrose has just declared himself for the Rumble. Do you think he has any chance of winning?
I think no.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win either. Because then he would be going up against Brock Lesnar. We've seen Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania before. So
one of the most disappointing.
Honestly, I felt that Dean should have won that match.
Oh, that was never going to happen, though. I mean,
knowing that what I know now, yes, obviously he wasn't gonna win. But back then,
I just wish that Lesnar had put in some effort, because if you watch Dean talk about that match, I think it was on I don't know if it was the Stone Cold podcast. It might have been the Chris Jericho podcast. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about that match.
Yeah, all I know is that Stone Cold really laid into Dean Ambrose when he was on the podcast that one time.
Yeah, that's right.
Stone Cold, I don't know if he has a problem with him. Maybe he just doesn't like being compared to him.
Well, hey, actually, that's kind of a good thing to bring up, talking about Ambrose, because you remember how you said how you thought Dean doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And Stone Cold said, what did he even say? Because it's been so long that I've seen that, What did Stone Cold say? He said that he wasn't he didn't have the feel of a champion or a wrestler or something like that.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't remember that much. But
he laid into him.
Yeah, he did. He did kind of, give him the business a little bit.
Yeah. But that kind of goes hand in hand right now with the situation with Dean and your thoughts on him,
Yeah. And you know what the thing is I love him so much, as a wrestler. He was my dude, and he still is. I still have a a very a soft spot for Dean. But it's clear that he's just kind of going through it.
Yeah. I just took a gander at the chat right now, and Don put Super Dragon in all caps. That's funny. And your girlfriend told me that we were all cute.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate it.
Super Dragon.
You know what? That's actually a good jumping point into talking about. Maybe we should talk about some of the wrestling media that we like. That we don't really get to mention all the time on the podcast, like other podcasts, YouTube channels, stuff like that. What do you like to watch? To get either your wrestling information or just to be entertained in a wrestling?
I don't watch or listen to many podcasts that often. I'm not subscribed to The Observer or anything like that, but whenever it's uploaded to YouTube and stuff, I'll listen to Brian and Vinny and Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer stuff. And I don't even agree with all the things they say, but I think that they're very insightful. And I listen to Solid Monster a lot too.
Okay. Yeah. So the things I do, I'm mostly a podcast person, hence why I decided to do this with Trenton, Teebs. no big surprise. His name starts with T. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so there's no. I actually listen to a couple different podcasts. I listen to the OSW Review. That's probably the first ever wrestling podcast I really started to listen to. It's three guys, Jay, Steve, and Steve. From Ireland. They review old wrestling podcasts. Sometimes they'll do the new ones. They're amazing. They're funny. They make Simpsons references, video game references. They have a segment where they say, what bar, which means, what candy bar do the wrestlers look like? Um, with their bright attires and stuff like that. So they're great. I listen to the Attitude Era podcast. I believe it's one Irish lad and a couple English lads. It's Kevin, Billy, and Adam, and they reviewed the entire all the pay-per-views for the from the Attitude Era. They did The Rock's comeback in 2009, 2010, and then they also did. Uh, they also did the Invasion. So they did that. That was pretty good. I used to watch What Culture. Don't watch them as much anymore. I do watch sometimes Cultaholic. And then on the rare occasion, I'll listen to Go Again Raw. So it's Stephen Larson. I'll listen to them, but that's pretty much all I listen to. In terms of podcasts and other wrestling media. I don't know. For some reason, I prefer listening to guys who are fans more than experts, and I don't know why. But it's a thing.
Well, technically, we're all fans.
That's true. Yeah.
So, actually, you know what? Speaking of this kind of show, this kind of format might be a good idea to like maybe we could go over like how we got into wrestling and like our
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word background because like we haven't done anything in wrestling, but like
Yeah.
it's been we haven't really. What's funny? I've been talking to you for like almost 2 years now, and I don't even know like a lot of your. I don't even know like who your favorite wrestler is or anything like that.
Yeah. Why don't we go over that kind of information? First, we'll start about how we got into wrestling, and then we'll talk about our favorite. How about we talk about our favorite male, female, and tag team?
Yeah, sure. Like currently or of all time.
Let's do current, and then we'll do who your favorite wrestler was when you were a kid.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with my background in as professional wrestling. When I first kind of knew about professional wrestling, it came from my uncle. My uncle at the time, he was about my age. I think he was about 25 when I was a very young kid. My mom is actually 11 years older than my uncle, and he was still living with my grandmother at the time because he hadn't moved out yet. And he had a bunch of his old toys up in the attic, and they were old wrestling toys, I think they were the LJN ones. With and it was he had, but I mean they're not worth anything because they were well used. He played with those for a long time when he was a kid. He had like Junkyard Dog. He had Hulk Hogan. He had Mean Gene. He had a whole bunch of them, and so I remember he let me play with them. And so that's how I kind of got into the wrestlers. But no, he would watch Raw, like the Attitude Era Raw, because when I was about 5 or 6 years old was when Raw was the big show and
hot.
wrestling was at its peak.
Right.
So to watch that, and I remember we got the Nintendo 64. We got I think it was No Mercy for the Nintendo 64, and I remember watching him play, and then the first time I saw Gangrel, I was hooked.
Gangrel, really?
Gangrel. I thought the fact that he was a vampire was the coolest thing in the world when I was a 5-year-old kid. And I thought it was a real vampire. Like, I thought he was real.
Of course, you think everything's real when you're a kid watching wrestling.
Exactly. That actually led me, because my dad watched WCW. And he was a big WCW guy. And I remember the first story I got hooked on, and because I was a 5-year-old kid and I had a stuffed animal that I was like super attached to, and I was super attached to the storyline between Norman Smiley, and Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Wow.
I think it was Norman Smiley. Was it Norman? I'm pretty sure it was Norman Smiley. Yeah. So Chavo had this wooden horse named Pepe, and it was like, well, it was like one of those horses on a stick. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
like the one that you like a kid rides or whatever.
yeah, and so uh, Chavo would come out with Pepe all the time, and that was his gimmick. Was he had a wooden horse named Pepe, and one time he was feuding with Norman Smiley. It might have been over something stupid like the WCW Hardcore Championship or something like that.
Hmm.
And to get heat, Norman Smiley threw Pepe in a wood chipper, and this devastated me as a kid. I was so devastated.
Did you cry?
I did cry.
Oh,
I
that's
cried
sad.
because I was so sad that Pepe got thrown into a wood chipper. Yeah, but so that's what I remember about WCW. I know I'm decently older than you. Not significantly, but I got
Right.
a couple years on you. But I remember WCW, and that was my dad and I. We would sit and watch WCW. Also, there was one time where, do you remember? You might not even remember, but there's these two people named Berlin and the Wall in WCW. Berlin was Alex Wright, and when he first came in WCW, he had a gimmick where he was just like a dancing German Euro dancer. But then he turned into this. He was a Nazi. He was basically a Nazi.
That would not go over well today.
Yeah, but I mean, like he didn't come out doing like the salutes, but he was basically a
Was he
Nazi.
goose stepping?
No, he was. I don't think he goose stepped, but he came out like with like he had like a shaved head and everything. I think.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was kind of blending the line, and he had this gigantic guy named the Wall, this Berlin Wall, and I remember because when you're a kid you think it's real, but he cut this promo stating he was going to come to everybody's house in America and like beat them up, but he was going to start with Buff Bagwell. and I was scared that Berlin was going to come to my house and beat me up.
To this day, you still have nightmares about it.
Yeah, right. I mean, I locked the door a couple times, like two times to make sure that Berlin don't come in. He might get me.
How old were you when this was going on?
Well, WCW folded in 2000, or 2001. I think it was
Yeah.
2000. And I was born in '93, so I cannot be more than 7 years old.
Okay.
So, all right. So yeah, let's go. Let's move on to you. Let's see what.
All right.
Let's
Well,
see how you got into wrestling.
well, I my dad tells me, because as far as my knowledge and my memory goes, I started watching in 2008 when I was 9 years old. After it had to have been after WrestleMania 24, and in like May or June maybe. But my dad tells me to this day that I started watching before 2008, but I don't remember much about that. I mean, I guess it's possible because you know how sometimes as a kid you don't remember stuff, but your parents totally remember you doing it,
Yeah.
like stories and whatnot. So I guess it could have been true, but as far as my memory serves me, I started watching in 2008, and I didn't really. I honestly, how I got into it, my classmates in school, in elementary school, when we would have recess inside, like when it was raining or whatever, we would bring in. They would bring in their action figures and like their wrestling action figures and play with them, and I saw it and I was like, well, damn, that's pretty cool because action figures are like really cool, when you're a kid. And like I saw them and I was like, damn, can I play with them? And everybody was like, no, get your own. So then I started watching wrestling, and I don't know. It was really I'd never seen anything like it at all. I was mostly just I don't even know what I did back then. But I remember I remember specifically around the time I started watching wrestling, uh it was there was a Raw episode where William Regal was, I can't remember if I don't think he was GM anymore. Because you remember when he was GM of Raw.
Was he GM or was he the commissioner?
I think he was GM.
Okay.
And Uh, Mr. Kennedy had returned when William Regal was like cutting a promo in the ring or whatever, and
Yeah,
they had a loser leaves town match, like loser gets fired match, and
yeah,
I was like, I guess it could have been like a month after I started watching wrestling, but I was like crying in my bed, thinking like being sad if Mr. Kennedy lost because he's like a good guy, you know, and I'm a kid. I want all the good guys to win. And
yeah.
I was so scared that Mr. Kennedy would lose and get fired. But William Regal lost. He got fired, and
Mhm.
people did the na 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 hey hey goodbye chant to him, you know.
Yeah,
And I think that might be probably my earliest memory of wrestling, like actually watching wrestling.
yeah.
Besides that of besides maybe my uncle showing me like a video of The Rock compilation, like trash talking on YouTube,
Hmm.
because like you know there's a ton of videos of that.
Now,
But
when was the first time that you actually went to a wrestling event?
oh well, you know what's funny too about that? I've only been. I hate to say this, but like I'm a big fan of wrestling. Like wrestling and I think about wrestling all the time. I keep up with it every day. You know me. I love it. But I've sadly only been to like two shows in my life. And the first show I ever went to was SummerSlam 2008 in Indianapolis,
Hmm.
Indiana, and it was the last time SummerSlam was ever at a show, was ever in a city that wasn't Los Angeles or New York. And like some of the matches on that were CM Punk and JBL for the World Heavyweight title, Great Khali versus Triple H.
Oh man, I'm sure that was amazing.
Do you remember the Triple H Khali feud where they did the arm wrestling in the glass on SmackDown?
No, I don't remember that.
They had an arm wrestling match, and they have that big table for arm wrestling, you know, with the special things you hold on to. But instead of the mat on the other side where you slam your opponent's hand onto that mat, there's glass. So it was like a Punjabi styled arm wrestling match. And I remember watching that as a kid too and thinking it was just like the coolest thing ever. And what were other matches? Obviously, Undertaker versus Edge in the Hell in a Cell, which was great. Like looking back on it, that actually is a great match.
Yeah.
I remember watching that and like because at the very end, one of the I guess you could say downsides. I mean, I take it for what it's worth because it's Taker when Taker choke slams Edge through the ring and he like spawns fire, you know, like he sent him to hell. Like looking back as a kid, I thought that was like the coolest thing because he just spawned fire from under the ring as if he actually sent Edge to hell. But like looking
Mhm.
back on it, he spawned fire from below the ring, you know? It's like it's like that doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? But it's Taker, of course it
especially
makes sense.
especially for your first fucking show, you know.
Right, right. And then my second show, the only other show I went to was a house show in Terre Haute, Indiana, in the Holman Center, and that was in 2009, I think, in October of 2009. And it's funny too because Heath Slater was on that show, and he had a match with JD Noble. I mean, doesn't that sound like an awesome match?
Oh man, I remember when JB Noble was a wrestler. Do you remember when who was it that ended his career? Was it Sheamus?
Yeah, it was Sheamus with the power bomb on the mat outside the ring. That was his.
I think he was done anyway though.
Yeah,
Like
that was their kayfabe way of writing him off. He said that power bomb was so bad. It was also a big rub to Sheamus, I guess, as a heel. You know, like that power bomb was so bad that it ended his career. It ended a man's career.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's just a little overview. I've only been to two shows. I want to go to more. The thing is, every time I find out about a show, it's like too late.
Yeah, it's like a week before.
Yeah, and it's already sold out, or it's too late, like scheduling and stuff like that, you know. Hmm. But yeah, that's kind of my background of wrestling. Once I got into wrestling, it was like I never grew out of it. My dad and my mom were my dad always asks me, "How have you not grown out of that?" Or like, "Don't you think you would have grown out of it by now?" I was like, "Nope."
See,
Doesn't
I
matter.
don't get why people think like wrestling is a kids thing. I mean, like I understand a lot of kids like wrestling, but like it's not like it's just the same as if like you're watching a show on Netflix, but this just has stunts. Like I view the wrestling as like it's obviously it's like it's presented in the sport way, but it's a stunt show basically.
Yeah, it's just acting, but it's like I don't want to say extreme, but like it's acting, but it's really really intense physical acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right. So I guess I'll talk about the times that I went to go see wrestling. I've been to a lot more wrestling shows than you have.
yeah,
Mostly because I've lived near cities pretty much all my life. I know you're kind of a bit of ways away from Indianapolis, so
yeah.
but I've when I grew up, I was 15 minutes away from Philadelphia, and I actually live in Orlando, Florida at this point now. So I the first show I ever went to was a Raw, and it was I think during uh, it was right when the NWO came back. If you remember
Really?
that, the NWO came back, and the only thing I can remember from that show was that Kevin Nash was there. Um, Shawn Michaels turned heel on Rob Van Dam or something like that.
Was
So
that when they kicked out Booker T, or am I thinking of something else? Was that a different show?
I don't know. It was something like that. But yeah, it was, and because I just remember my dad taking me. But after that, I didn't go for a long, long time. And then the very next show I went to was when Roman Reigns defeated Sheamus for the title when he punched uh, uh, Vince McMahon, and they got Roman over for one night.
Yeah, they got a huge pop on Roman.
Yep. And that was amazing. That was the first time I had ever gone to a show like in 10 years. So, that was awesome. And then we decided, oh, we're definitely going back to more. And then so we went to a couple Raws, went to a couple SmackDowns, went to Extreme Rules to 2016. Hold on, I have a sneeze. It's gone. Okay. Yeah, Extreme Rules 2016, where Seth Rollins came back and attacked Roman Reigns. So yeah, that was that's been pretty good. And then I've been going to NXT house shows in Orlando, which are great. They're like very up close and personal. You get to see the wrestling pretty well. Something at the end of the show, the wrestlers will come up and give you high fives and stuff. Don't really take time to take pictures with you, but that's okay. For $10, what do you expect? It's a great time. Very intimate. I prefer it actually to the big shows in a way because it's you get a lot less people who are there carrying around their title belts and acting like animals, and a lot of people who go to these NXT shows really respect the wrestling part of it, which is great.
Right. Like
So
they're smarks. I'm just kidding.
what was it that Vince Russo said about New
Oh
Japan?
yeah, the
People who get up
getting
at
up getting up at 3 a.m. to watch grown Japanese men fake fight.
yeah.
Bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, but yeah. So then I guess we'll go through who our favorite wrestlers are. Um,
Or
so
were when we started.
yeah, well, actually, here, why don't we do a favorite wrestler of all time, and then favorite or no, favorite wrestler back when you started watching, and then favorite wrestler now.
Okay.
So who was your favorite wrestler back when you first started watching wrestling?
Uh, it's gonna be super generic, but my favorite wrestler back then was John Cena, of course, because it was every little kid's favorite wrestler, and probably second was Jeff Hardy when I
You
was growing up.
You see, actually, I'm actually going to interject here. That was my favorite when I was a kid was John Cena, but I was like I started with Doctor Thugonomics John Cena,
Right. I started
and
with superhero Cena.
superhero Cena, and actually, just as a side, Jeff Hardy, I did not get his hype at all. He was not
Really?
one of my favorites. Remember when he had that match, that cage match that he lost to CM Punk and
Yeah.
leave the company? I was actually so happy when that happened, and I felt
Really?
like a jerk because like obviously that's a lot of people's favorite wrestlers,
Uh-huh.
but. I was just like, yes, because I loved CM Punk at the time too. So
Yeah. I think actually, you know what? Talking about that, I think maybe third might have been Triple H, because
mhm.
I don't know, I just say what you want about him like as a wrestler from back then, because he was like the totally booked, like stupidly dominant, like he was always in the picture. And even after his reign of terror when he was world champ in like 2000, in the early 2000s, like 2003 or 2004,
Yeah.
he there was just something really cool about Triple H back then. And my mom used to love Triple H.
My mom loves Triple H too. Something about Triple H really attracts mothers, and I don't know what it
I
is.
think it's the long hair, because my mom isn't a big fan of wrestling at all. But like when I started watching wrestling, I've it's kind of funny when I think about. I think I texted you this a couple weeks ago. I have only like occasionally missed Raw and SmackDown
Yeah.
since I started watching. I've only missed like a handful of episodes since I started watching, and
Mhm.
my mom, like, I watch every week on the TV, and my mom's favorite was Triple H. And once he cut his hair short in like 2012 or 2011, she was like, "That looks so stupid." Oh yeah, and she hated Randy Orton.
You know what? My mom actually, she started hating Randy Orton, and then she turned around. She was like, you know what? The more I think about Randy Orton, the more good that he looks to me. Um,
Yeah, I think we
someone
should point
actually
out, by the way, though. I think we should point out somebody's in the chat really,
yes, yeah, that's what.
really, really chatting a lot, and we haven't just been ignoring him. But thank you for chatting so much. He said, or she, it just says A. I don't know if it's a woman or a man, but he said it's the same with Roman. He gets the mothers, and it's true because my mom really likes Roman too. She
I
thinks
agree. I
Roman looks
see
great.
a lot of older women love Roman Reigns, and I think it's something about the long hair and the muscles. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, because I think because it's that Roman actually kind of looks like Aquaman. Uh,
he actually does. I didn't think about that. That's true.
yeah, so like I think it has something to do with and I think it's the beard too. I think they like the.
Mm.
I mean, I think Roman's an attractive man. As a straight man, I think Roman's a good looking dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you can admit that a dude's good looking if you're a straight dude.
oh yeah, no, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, now who is your favorite now, like current wrestler?
Oh man, there's so many. Like, I couldn't narrow it down to one, to tell you the truth. It's so hard for me because there's just I primarily watch WWE, but
Yeah.
like so many guys everywhere that are great. Like, I think for the year of 2018, it might have been Seth Rollins,
Hmm.
because he did, like he said on Raw this past week, he carried the show on his back the entire year of 2018. And some of my favorite women's wrestlers. That's, for some reason, women's wrestlers is more easy for me to narrow down who my favorites are. Ruby Riott, of course, I love them.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, yeah. Kairi Sane, I love to death. Dakota Kai, I really like. And I mean, man, men though. I actually, for the longest time, my favorite wrestler was Cesaro.
Yeah, just one moment, Trenton. I just want to. Someone in the chat's asking if we're doing tarot readings because I assume that they're
Oh yeah, yeah.
sellers. I do apologize. Unfortunately, this is actually a wrestling podcast. We actually are not doing tarot readings at all. I do apologize.
You know what's really funny about that? I thought that might happen.
Really?
Like, when we first started a couple weeks ago, we should probably like change it to the Fortune Tellers Wrestling Show, like in the
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, and that's probably a good idea because I mean, like, I didn't want to make the thing that long, the name that long. I do
Right.
apologize to anyone who's here looking for that.
Well,
We
we are psychics.
we well, I mean, psycho. We're psycho. That's
No,
different.
we're fortune tellers in the sense that we predict wrestling and our own downfalls.
Yes, like our nuts. But yeah, so unfortunately, we're not anything with any actual like readings or anything like that. So I do apologize if you found us through that avenue. That's unfortunately not what we do here.
Uh,
Uh,
she said, "Where's my cat?" Um,
um, he, I think your cat is with my father. They went out to get milk about 10 years ago and they never came back.
Damn, that was dark.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let me just go through what my favorite wrestler is of today. Um, Honestly, and like I feel bad because lately he hasn't been really doing anything. But like Dean Ambrose is one of my favorites. But I think if you were to ask me right now if I put on one person's match, I'm going to say Braun Strowman.
Really?
Yeah, I think Braun Strowman has done so much to entertain me as as that big absolute crazy dude.
Right.
Uh, um, but I every time he's on my screen, like he does something that amazes me. So women's wrestlers, I actually think that the women's wrestling has been the best thing on the card in the last couple months.
It's true.
Um, Now, I hate to take the easy way out and say Ronda, but because
Oh no, it's fine. I really like Ronda as well.
yeah, I think though, someone who I watch who always puts a great match on and has great story that's going on even right now has to be Becky Lynch. I think she's got to be the number one woman right now on the roster.
I agree. And just going back to Ronda though, that Raw women's division right now, like, would be so lost without Ronda. I mean, maybe you could say that because they kind of built the division around her, but if you take her out of the equation, there's like, what do you do with that division? You know what I mean?
And you know what? Actually, I want to say something. I want to say something real quick because I
Okay.
shared this. I shared this tweet with you earlier.
Okay.
um, what happened is uh, I saw a tweet on it was a picture of Alexa Bliss and it stated uh, retweet to appreciate when the women's title was relevant. Now, I don't know about you, but do you remember when Alexa Bliss did not defend her title for almost 2 months because they forgot that the title existed? And
Um. Yeah, I
and
don't remember.
not only that, Ronda Rousey is we're defending her title. She's elevated all the eyes on the women's division. All even though the women, even if they think that Ronda's taking the spotlight from them, they're all getting benefits from Ronda Rousey being there. There isn't Ronda can't wrestle herself, okay? Like she
Right.
has to have competition. So there's got to be something that's going on where Ronda, you know, has someone else to work with, and when you could see when someone wants to work with her, how great of a match they put on. So I'm just saying, these people who think that Ronda Rousey has been handed everything from WWE, you could tell that she cares and she's actually working. It's not like a Brock Lesnar situation where Brock Lesnar isn't showing up and is not wrestling. It's Ronda Rousey is busting her butt out there.
Yes.
And I think that it's completely false and wrong for someone to say that you know that Alexa Bliss was the better head of the women's division when there was a time where Alexa Bliss basically didn't even defend her title.
Okay. Hold on a second. Uh, there's also someone else in the chat thinking that this is a reading. You know,
Yeah, I
like
don't.
an actual a
Yeah,
fortune teller's reading.
yeah,
I think we're gonna have to change the title of this show.
yeah. How do I even do that?
I'm very sorry about your situation, Leonardo. Uh, I hope this is my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. If James wants to get back together with you, uh, he will. If you want to get back together with him and you really try to make things work, things will always work out. And uh, I don't know what else to tell you, but we need to change the name of this show.
Yeah, we really do. I am so sorry for everybody who's here trying to look for a live fortune reading. I don't know how to change the name of this.
Live, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean,
I don't think we can.
yeah, Don suggested NJIF podcast. Uh,
Or we could just name it the Fortune Tellers Wrestling Podcast.
that's true. That would definitely help. Uh, you know, that would definitely help someone not who's looking for other things not find us and ask why the hell we're talking about wrestling. Um, but yeah, I do apologize. Maybe I don't know if maybe we should restart it or what. I mean, I think we should just plow through this, and then now we know for next time.
I think. Oh, okay. They said I would still come to ask my question. Okay. Uh, do we give advice?
Yeah,
Here?
why not? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, what question you have? Let's see if maybe we
All
can.
right. All right. Since we're kind, this
Yeah.
person said, "Will James and I get back together, or should I move on? I'm really lost and confused." And then said, eventually, he's sleeping beside another woman right now.
Well,
Well,
this is what I would say to you. I would say that if James is doing this knowingly and knowing that it's hurting you, that it's not worth it, and that you should just go ahead and move on. I understand it might be difficult to do that. You just move on for the sake of yourself and your own self worth. You just shouldn't have to worry about people who don't give you the time of day or they give you the courtesy to even think about your feelings. Now, it might be a more complicated situation than that. I might not have all the information, but what do you think about that?
I agree. Within the context of the situation at hand, with our limited information, I'd say that if if he's sleeping with another woman and has no interest of getting back together with you, and even if it sucks, you might want to try and like move past it, even if it sucks at first. And if they don't, I don't. It sounds shitty, but if they're not going to, if they're
Put
not
in the
going to
effort.
make, yes, if they're not going to put in the effort and they don't care, it's really not worth going after because it's just a waste of your time at the end of
It
the
makes you
day.
feel bad. It makes you feel bad. And honestly, if you have to work to make somebody love you, that's not actually true, and that's not going to make you happy. You're going to want to find somebody who you don't have to work for and chase around and worry about who they're sleeping with or behind your back. You just got to work, find someone who's down for you, not someone who's with another person.
Exactly. I hope that helped you out. I'm very sorry that this is a wrestling podcast, but we tried our best. We're not actually legit fortune tellers. It's just our names.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's actually a stupid name that we actually came up with because we made some predictions about a wrestling show one time. There was the Jeff Stradamus and Teebs Stradamus. That was that's the reason why we're called that. But yeah, so just make do what makes you happy, and don't go chasing someone who doesn't care for you.
yes. So, uh,
All right,
let's
yeah. Let's move on. All right, so we did women's wrestlers. We should do. Well, do you have a favorite women's wrestler from before this era?
Oh,
I know.
well, again, I started watching wrestling in 2008. So, like, again, I don't mean to like this isn't even shitting on the women or the talent. I make that point all the time that I'm never going to shit on the talent because it wasn't their fault. But the women's division was not treated seriously around my time, let's say, you know. But with that being said, my favorite women's wrestler back then when I was watching as a kid was probably Kelly Kelly.
Kelly. Yeah. Back in the day, I mean, there wasn't. You didn't like the women for the wrestling, pretty much. I mean, I hate to say that. That sounds awful,
Well,
but like,
well, I was 9 years old, so like I did like it for the wrestling. I didn't really pay attention to the matches that much. I paid attention to the story, you know.
yeah, I Maurice was always my favorite. Um, she was definitely my favorite. I don't really have much to say about that. It's
Yeah,
just
you like the French Canadian women.
uh, yes, we'll say
No, I'm
that.
making
Okay.
fun.
Okay. And so, who was your favorite tag team growing up?
Um, who were some tag teams in 2008? There was Cade and Murdoch, and then they broke up.
Oh fuck, man.
They broke
Yeah,
up.
no, Lance Cade's dead.
Yeah, rip in peace, Lance Cade. Uh,
Yeah,
how did he die again? Did he have a heart attack? How did he die?
there was something like that. Hold on, I'll look it up while you talk.
Okay. Who else? There was Bob Holly and Cody Rhodes, but then Cody Rhodes turned on Bob Holly and went with Ted DiBiase and formed Legacy. And actually, looking back on it, just thinking about it, just offhanded comment, Legacy is actually like an underrated tag team, I thought.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I thought they were pretty good. When they got rid of Manu, I was really happy. So
yeah, Manu was lame.
yeah. All right. So yeah, Lance K died on August 13th, 2010, at the age of 29. Heart failure in San Antonio. Yeah, it's mixed. It says medical examiner said he died accidentally from mixed drug intoxication.
Wow.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Trevor Murdoch. I remember how ugly he was.
What's he doing now?
Oh yeah, let's look that up. But yeah, who's your favorite like tag team now?
Tag team now at the moment. Just well, for the case of being like actually protected and stuff on the main roster, the only ones that were really protected and like not screwed over were New Day, Usos, and probably currently I'll probably just go with Undisputed Era and NXT. They're they're a stable, but they're still a tag team.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to, you know, it's really funny. Back in the day, I used to absolutely hate the Usos. Like, I hated their face paint thing. I hated their chant thing. I hated like all of it.
Yeah.
Once they switched to their, gritty, day one ish Usos, they became my favorite tag team.
Yeah.
And back in the day, I would say my favorite tag team was probably the Vaudevillains.
You know what's I actually when the Vaudevillains first start, I didn't watch NXT back around when Vaudevillains were there, so like I didn't know anything about them. But when they first got called up, and I was the first time I ever saw them, I hated them because I was like, "What the hell is this?" You know, like their gimmick and the music, and but then like I started to appreciate it more. Like actually, when I thought about it, because it's a gimmick, you know, it's like
Yeah,
they're the Vaudevillains. I actually really enjoyed it when I got into it. Yeah. So yeah, Vaudevillains cool.
yeah. This is the third person who just jumped in the chat thinking we were doing tarot readings.
Yes, I'm very I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's terrible. So Trevor Murdoch, though, I just looked it up. In April of 2014, he did an interview for WWE's website and Where Are They Now series, and he's currently installing optic cables for a heavy equipment company.
Damn, what a fall from grace.
All right. He also has the Tasmanian devil tattooed on him. So
really,
there's that.
I mean, huh? Poor guy. I mean,
poor dude.
Well, maybe he's making a killing.
He could be. I mean, he's installing stuff.
What if he has his own business and he's making more money than he ever did in WWE?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, a lot of the wasn't Paul Bearer actually a pallbearer?
Oh yeah, isn't that how he got his name when Vince McMahon was like, your name will be Paul Bearer? It's kind of like it's that play on like Isaac Yankem.
Yeah.
Like back then, people were cartoon characters. Undertaker, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna go run to the bathroom. If you want to talk about more of your favorite tag teams while I come back.
Oh, okay. I'll try to think of something.
Yeah.
Well, right now at least, I guess my favorite tag team is Undisputed Era, and they actually, just thinking about it, like, honestly, I can't remember much about tag team wrestling from when I started watching wrestling. It's kind of weird because I've thought about my start in watching wrestling and stuff a lot lately, and I can't really even come up with any. It's interesting. I'll have to go back and watch some old stuff on the network about that because I wonder if I missed out on a lot. I remember Jesse and Festus, and of course Festus is Luke Gallows right now, and that was that was a peculiar, interesting gimmick to say the least. But I remember watching Great American Bash 2008 when Hawkins and Ryder won the tag titles when they actually were somewhat relevant now. I mean, actually, that's not true. Zack Ryder and even Kurt Hawkins, to an extent, is probably more relevant now than they were when they won the titles, which is a weird thought. But
Okay,
yeah, I was just talking about Hawkins and Ryder in 2008.
okay. So Don said he'd watch Booker T and Goldust, which were really funny, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Booker T and Goldust were really funny. That was the time where, do you remember where they put the Goldust wig on Goldberg?
No.
Oh, well,
That sounds great.
I need to get you a picture of that. Here, I'll send it to you in our Twitter chat.
Okay. Do you remember? I remember just the other day I rewatched when Goldust dressed up as Steve Irwin.
That happened?
Or as the Crocodile Hunter? Or are they
Yeah.
the same person? Or are they the same person, Steve Irwin and the Crocodile Hunter? I always get those two mixed up. They're the same person?
Yes.
Okay. He dressed up as him, and he snuck into the Big Show's locker room where the NWO were. And, or not the NWO, but just, it was Big Show, X-Pac, and maybe it was the NWO. Either way, he snuck into their locker room and acted like the Crocodile Hunter. And he was like speaking in an Australian accent, acting like Big Show was a huge animal, you know. And Big Show was sleeping on the couch, so that's why he could like get away with it. And X-Pac like chased him through the halls, and then he got hit by that big metal sheet when rounding a corner by Booker T.
Man, I need to see this. Just shout out here.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. The picture you sent me about Goldberg wearing the wig.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So just to let you know, the beer of the night that I'm drinking is a Schafferhofer grapefruit beer from Germany.
Hoffenhofer? What'd you say?
Yeah, it's called Schafferhofer.
Schafferhofer.
Yes, it's imported grapefruit beer from Germany. So.
Huh.
And also, I do apologize. We have another person in the chat. This is actually not a fortune-telling podcast. It's actually a wrestling podcast. The name of the podcast is Fortune Tellers. I do apologize. We do need to do a better job of making that aware to other people. We will be doing so in the future. If you do like wrestling, then you can stick around. But unfortunately, we are not actually doing readings. It's Fortune Tellers. That's the name of our show. So I do apologize. But yeah, so unfortunately, we probably wouldn't be able to help you there.
Yeah, this is I mean, we're kind of going like, it's been about 47 minutes.
Yeah.
We started, so I think we might as well just pound it out and keep going. Like we talked about. Oh, he knows about wrestling. Do you talk about NXT? We can right now. This is just a chill session.
Yeah. We could definitely talk about NXT. Usually we just do a review of Raw and SmackDown. But this is kind of like a special episode where we're just kind of talking about NXT. You want to talk about NXT? You know a lot more about it than I do.
Sure.
Did you watch this week's episode of NXT at all? Or
well, this week's episode was just like a year in review. It was a special 2-hour edition, I think.
Okay.
And
oh yeah, that's right. And then it was Matt Riddle versus
Cassius Ohno. Yeah. And Matt Riddle won, and I'm excited for I don't know. I thought it looks like they're pairing up Gargano and Ciampa again as a tag team, but I don't know. I don't know if I like that because they just had one of the best feuds like ever, you know, and they're just gonna team up again just because Johnny is against Aleister Black. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I don't know, because I think that kind of really takes the sting away about the whole Candice LeRae thing stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I wonder what Candice thinks about all this. Maybe she's just gonna stay out of it this time.
Yeah. She helps Aleister.
Maybe they're gonna, yeah. Maybe they're going to ask. Maybe the commentators are going to ask Candace, "What's up with Johnny?" Kind of like the commentators ask Renee Young, "What's up with Dean?" all the time.
Yeah, that's annoying. I'll tell you that.
What's going on with Johnny? Huh? What's going on? What's going on there? Yeah, maybe. I'm interested to see where it goes because I have faith. Listen, when I question something in NXT, it's like I'll give it. I won't shit on immediately, mostly like I do with the main roster because, I mean, that's kind of sucks of me because it's like not very fair. But the main roster is like every time I shit on something on the main roster, I feel like I'd never give it a chance just because I've been conditioned to like, you know, we've been conditioned on the main roster to like logic means nothing, continuity doesn't exist. But like when and you watch NXT and something happens that's questionable, you're more open to it because NXT always like delivers a great product, you know?
Yeah, well, that and they also kind of always give an explanation for it too.
Yes, and there's continuity. Like the whole Gargano Champa story was a year in the making, and they went over everything. Like there were no loose ends there, and I will give this Gargano and Champa coming together again a chance, but I have my doubts because of the set of circumstances surrounding their feud that they just had.
Yeah,
Yeah. Damn, can you believe that feud is like already like a year ago that it started?
Oh, I was honestly that feud was so good. Like it had been a while
Yeah.
since we saw, something that good. I was about to mention something, but I can't remember what it was.
Let's end. No, I'm just kidding.
What would you say?
I said let's end because it was silent.
We out of here.
Yeah, we don't have like notes or anything to like go by. We're just kind of coming up with things as we go because I feel like
well, we have a question. Who has the best entrance music in WWE right now? Now, I mean, we were going to do a full top 10 list, but eventually, but I think we can answer this question right now. I think we should do who has the best male entrance, who has the best female
entrance. Okay.
And then tag team. We'll do that too. We'll just do female tag team. Right now, I mean, he's been buried and he's 6 feet under, but I have like a big soft spot for Baron Corbin's theme. I will find myself singing Baron Corbin's theme every day. Doesn't matter. At one point of the day, I will be singing his theme.
I really loved his old theme.
I like both of them actually. I thought they were both really good.
At the moment, I mean, for a while, my favorite theme song has been Sanity's theme because it sounds like Primus. I don't know if you listen to Primus or not.
Yeah, I know who Primus is, yeah.
It sounds like My Name is Mud. Just right now, anybody listening, look up My Name is Mud by Primus, listen to that, and then listen to Sanity's theme song, and it sounds similar.
Yeah, I've heard that song before.
Yes.
Yeah, so you like Sanity for your tag team?
Yeah, tag team, sure. And I actually really like Seth Rollins' theme because it gets me like fucking pumped up. I really like rock and metal sounding themes.
You like
stuff that gets you pumped. I don't mind. Yeah, I like the burn it down part, sure.
Okay. So obviously the female is Sasha Banks, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, of course.
I think we should also talk about the worst as well, like our least favorites as well.
Okay.
No, but yeah, so Sasha Banks is definitely not my favorite. Honestly, I think I'm gonna say for the women's team. No, yeah, for the women's team, I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch. I really like her theme. Yeah. I mean, I can't really think of anybody else whose theme I like. Oh wait, Mandy Rose. No, just kidding.
Do you not like her theme song?
Not really, no. Actually, I like the Riot Squad's theme too.
Dude, Mandy Rose's theme song sounds like a porno. I know everybody says that, but it's true.
Just ask Jimmy Uso.
Yeah, because he's been, man. Damn, what a storyline.
You know what? Shout out to Don in the chat because Don is telling everybody that it's a pro wrestling podcast. Thank
Yeah,
you.
if it wasn't for Don, like this chat would probably be filled with
People looking for readings.
yes. Thank you, Don. You're the real man. You're the chief.
Don't call him the chief. He's a Chargers fan.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Sorry.
Yeah.
He also said you didn't pick Rhonda, and her song is from Shrek. Is it?
You're right. Yeah. Well, I mean, Bad Reputation is in Shrek.
Yeah. You know what? They should. I'm a Believer is also from Shrek. I should have that as my theme song when I become a wrestler.
No, it should be Holding Out for a Hero from Shrek 2.
Oh, I hate that song, dude.
You don't like that song?
We had to listen to that song when I was in 10th grade. We'd listen to that song in my English class for some reason.
Yeah.
And like we played it a bunch. I can't even remember why. We were talking about archetypes and shit. So like I guess Hero, we're playing that song and it was dumb. I hate that song. If you like it, totally fine, but I don't like it.
Also, okay, so so I think Becky's probably got the best women's theme.
And you really like Riot Squad's theme.
I do, yeah, I do like.
I don't like how they changed it up a little bit, but I feel like they kind of had to since they're heels because Ruby Riot's theme song is like cheery and happy and stuff, you know.
Yeah. And for tag team, you still haven't given your mail yet.
Oh, at the moment,
you said Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites, sure.
Yeah. And I think for my tag team, and I mean, I know they're not a tag team anymore, but the American Alpha theme.
Oh yeah, I really like their theme too.
The American Alpha theme was so good. Who else do I like? Oh, the Bludgeon Brothers. The Bludgeon Brothers have an amazing theme song.
Yeah, it was pretty lit. Actually, I haven't been watching NXT UK much, like at all. I feel like I should though because they're having a takeover show on the 12th in 6 days. UK, and I heard that they changed Pete Dunne's theme song, which makes me sad because I loved Pete Dunne's theme song. So that's kind of sad. Yeah,
you know, for NXT, I got to think of probably Johnny Gargano. He's probably got my favorite. Yeah, Johnny Gargano definitely. I mean, I don't mind Shayna Baszler's theme either, and Kairi Sane's old theme. Which, well, actually, she had a new theme for Evolution, and then at the last takeover, she had a new theme. I mean, she had her old theme again.
Yeah, which I'm glad because Kairi Sane's old theme was way better.
Yes, I agree. Now let's talk about who has the worst themes.
Cedric Alexander.
Cedric Alexander is probably number one. I don't think that the actual song is bad. The singer is terrible.
Dude, listen. If Cedric is listening to this, which he isn't, but if this gets to Cedric, I love Cedric as a wrestler. He's legitimately, and I'm not exaggerating, he's legit one of the best in the world. I really do believe that. But his theme song is about as unexciting as he is as like a character and personality.
I mean, he's a great wrestler. I'll give Cedric Alexander.
You know what he's actually like, minus the murdering? He's like Chris Benoit. Because Chris Benoit was not very like charismatic or didn't have much of a personality, but he was like one of the best wrestlers ever, you know. And Cedric Alexander is kind of like that. He's an amazing wrestler, but he's just no personality. And his theme song like just goes hand in hand with that. So yeah, that's my pick as the worst.
I agree, but I think we need to give an honorable mention to the new Dean Ambrose theme
with the siren.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anything like that with Cesaro, Right to Censor.
You know what? That's kind of funny you mentioned that because I actually liked Cesaro's theme a lot.
Yeah.
Like the siren part is whatever, but like the actual like theme part of it, you know?
I like that part too. Like just like I like Dean's theme, like when it gets to the da-na-na-na.
Yeah. But the siren.
Oh my god.
It's one thing if the siren like stops after a little bit, like Cesaro's, you know?
Yeah.
But Dean's just keeps going.
It doesn't end.
Yeah, I don't know. It's poopy. And well, Sasha's theme is like we joke about that theme being bad because we say "Had a Dream I Had" made it all the time when her song comes on. Mostly just like poke fun at.
Yeah, anytime we're watching any wrestling show and I'm texting him, texting Teebs, and Sasha comes out, we both send each other in all caps, "Had a dream I hadn't made it," and that's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind Sasha Banks' theme. I actually don't think it's bad.
Yeah, like it fits her,
Yeah. Um, I mean, do we just take the easy way out and just say Brie mode?
It's not. Yeah. 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 I mean, that's pretty bad because it sounds like a whale.
Brie mode.
Well, this person said they're reporting us for spam because it's our title.
I mean, go ahead and do that. I mean, I don't understand.
I mean, we should have picked a better title.
I mean, we should have, but I mean, like, just because we're not what you're looking for doesn't mean that you need to report us as spam. Just saying, you know?
It is also in the description, but that doesn't, we should have picked a better title.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
false. Rip and pepperoni.
Yeah. Also, all right. So worst tag team theme. What do you think about that?
There's not really many bad ones, to be honest.
Yeah. B team.
B team. Never mind. B team's shit. Yes, B team. I forgot about them. You're right. B team's the worst. I hate B team. I forgot about them because they're jobbers and they never are on TV anymore. Yeah, fuck the B team theme song. Their Battle Scars was so good. Their old theme?
Yeah.
Why did they change it to dumb, goofball, stupid comedy, cheerleader? Like, they're like the Spirit Squad.
Remember when the Spirit Squad came back for a hot minute?
Yeah, and that feud with Miz and Ziggler. Yeah. Fucking man. B team. Damn. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that one out to me because I forgot about that. Is that your pick as well, or is it something else?
All
right then, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my pick. Battle Scars was great, and even when they had Battle Scars, I didn't really particularly like the B team gimmick. I mean, the B team gimmick was fine because there's story behind it, but then they just went with dumb comedy, which I didn't like because there's actually a great story to be had with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just kind of like pulled the plug on the whole turn of the Miztourage and everything.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh, somebody asked which one is Teebs and which one is Truffles, but then says Juffles. I guess they missed. Me with I'm the Drake Maverick photo. I'm Teebs with the photo, and Juffles is the one with just the default.
Yeah, I should probably put something in there.
Yeah.
So I have something to identify with me. But yeah, so I'm Juffles, and I am I'm the one who's from Orlando, a little bit older than Teebs. Teebs is from Indiana. He's younger than I am. So.
Yes, that's true. So, anyways, I think that's about all I could think of on theme songs.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Okay, so Don says that Teebs is a Norwegian Navy veteran who breeds chickens with wolves. So, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I always thought that Don and everyone else called me Canadian, but I guess I'm Norwegian now.
Well, oh yeah, because I remember the first time I introduced Teebs into our group chat. Who I guess we could mention the NJIF. Do you want to like talk about the NJIF? We could do that.
Yeah, that's just our group of friends. We started our own like.
It's kind of like a weird little wrestling federation, but so basically what we do is we do predictions for every single pay-per-view. Whoever gets the most questions right gets the NJF title. We do sometimes a little bit of fun stuff with it, sometimes with the Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank. We do a little bit of different stuff with that. But The joke is that I introduced Trent. It was a group of my friends, all my friends from New Jersey, um, and I introduced Trenton into the chat because I had been talking to Trenton a lot about wrestling and mentioning this, and I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'll just bring him into the group, and then so I did, and they knew that. I mean, they knew that Trenton wasn't from either Florida or Jersey, but they didn't really know where he was from, so they just decided that he was Canadian. Um,
Yeah.
and then now this, I think it still goes on nowadays. Like this, the joke goes on that you know it's
Yeah. So I'm not Canadian. Sorry. Uh, sorry to rain on your parade. I'm very much Indianian. Indian? I'm not Indian.
no, you're not Indian. Um, no, but yeah, so we might actually do maybe NJIF updates. NJIF stands for New Jersey, Indiana, Florida. It's the three states that all six of us are from. Um, and we, that's where we came up with the name NJIF. That
And
might
it's
be something that we maybe change the name of the podcast to because of this issue.
yeah. Well, we picked NJIF because it kind of looks like NJPW as in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's kind of the thought behind it because it looks
Yeah,
like New Japan, which was kind of funny.
exactly, because none of us except for Trenton watches New Japan. So
Well, I don't watch New Japan often, but whenever I can, I watch it.
yeah, I used to watch Ring of Honor with our other friend Don, who's actually in the chat. I used to watch Ring of Honor with him at his house. His For some reason, well, he's half Filipino. His mom would get all the Filipino channels and very very little English channels. And one of the English channels that his mom got was the actual network that Ring of Honor was on. So we would watch Ring of Honor probably like most of the time before a pay per view. We would watch Ring of Honor.
Yes. Yes. Man, I haven't watched Ring of Honor in a long time.
According
I
to
used to
Don,
get
it says
them.
Juffles is a Brazilian professional curler who runs slow pitch softball leagues in Ghana.
I mean, where's the lie? Where's
There is,
the lie?
I mean, I'm packing my bags for Brazil right now.
Oh, but it's in Ghana.
Shit.
You're
Hold
just
on.
you're just Brazilian in Ghana.
Oh wait, hold on. Crap. Now I gotta change my itinerary. Give me a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but yeah, so NJIF, that's actually pretty fun. We actually have like a Money in the Bank, which has never been successfully cashed in the 3 years that we've been doing it. We have the Royal Rumble, which has been lost twice. So the Royal Rumble winner and the Money in the Bank winner have both never won.
Yes. Never wait. Yeah, because everybody keeps failing to cash in. Right? Didn't Brian cash in on?
Brian cashed in on Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, and he thought that Seth was going to win, and he did not. So,
Yes.
yeah,
We
and
can go over the rules sometime. Maybe we can invite everybody into a big call and have you know,
an introductory. We could do an introductory podcast to the NJIF with everybody if we can get
just
that.
for fun.
Yes, exactly.
Although we would have to tell everybody to behave.
Yeah, we would have to.
It can get rowdy sometimes.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, I do group calls with my friends during pay-per-views. So, maybe one day if we could figure out how to do a Google Hangout, maybe either on someone's iPad over there or one of their computers, maybe we could all end up watching a Royal Rumble together, do Rumble reactions or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And we figured, actually, just talking about stuff like that, we kind of thought about changing up our scheduling when we record shows.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, because we record Raw and SmackDown reviews on Wednesdays, and at the moment, like, that's how it is, but what are we going to do when pay-per-views start? I figure we can just, like, probably change to the weekends to get everything done quickly.
Yeah.
Like, all in one,
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we do our Rumble reaction video or Rumble recap. or pay-per-view recap on Wednesday.
Yes.
Um, and then this is only for the weeks of that have a pay-per-view. We'll
Yeah.
do Raw and SmackDown recaps on Saturday.
Right.
And then that way, so we have the original one, the pay-per-view review, and then we'll have the Raw and SmackDown reviews on Saturday, so that way we're not burning ourselves out, but we still get that review, so you guys aren't missing any information about Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
It just might be later in the week.
Or you can we could do what I said, which is every time there's a pay-per-view, you take the Monday off after the pay-per-view so that we can record a show about it.
Yeah, most likely that's probably not going to happen with my work.
No, I know.
I can't. Yeah, I'm planning on actually going up in March to see all the rest of the NJIF crew, and then so I'm hoping to save my my days for that. But yeah, I mean, it's we could definitely figure something out. I'm not opposed to doing a Rumble or a review, live Rumble reaction show.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. The only problem is that we all have different delays. I know most of the time I'm ahead of the rest of the NJF crew, and both of us are significantly ahead of you. So,
right. For some reason,
with something as eye popping as the Rumble, I don't know if that's a great idea.
Right, because you don't want to react to something and then have nobody know what it kind of gives away a little bit of the surprise of it being a big deal potentially.
Yeah, so live Rumble reactions would be good if everybody were in the same place. I don't know if that's going to work in this instance, but I think it's we might just be able to do a show on Wednesday after the or even I usually have work though until about 8 o'clock. That's when the Raw and SmackDown come on. So yeah, unfortunately, we probably can't record on a Monday or a Tuesday unless I somehow head off that day. Which I probably
or if you just got off a little earlier.
Yeah, something like that. But
I have a question. Here's a question. Why do you work so late?
I actually I work for a call center, so I take calls. Call center is open from 8 to 8. 8 to 8. So, and because I just recently got hired permanent a couple months ago at my job, I'm kind of like the low man on the totem pole, so I have to have the closing shift. Yeah, so I work 11:05 to 8:05 usually if I'm not doing overtime. But yes, that's why I work so late. Because I take calls up until 8 o'clock, and then we don't leave the facility until 8:05 unless I'm on a call, and then I have to be longer. But I won't say that. I'm not going to say the name of the company I work for because that's not anybody's business. But
we should start our own wrestling show, like our own actual wrestling promotion.
Our promotion, yeah, right. With money that we have to start this promotion.
Yeah, I'll build a ring in my backyard and.
And I'll have to fly to Indiana, so.
And everybody else will too. Yeah, it'll be a great idea. We'll start. Yeah, it's just backyard wrestling. A lot of people, kind of branching off that, like, how many backyard wrestling promotions were there at its peak?
I don't know, but I mean, like that was probably like right in the era of ECW. But yeah, I do apologize to the person who just posted in the chat. This is actually a wrestling-based podcast. I know we're called the Fortune Tellers, but unfortunately, we don't actually do fortune telling. It's actually, no, it's okay. You're all right. We've been having that happen all night, and I do apologize. It's a bit confusing. But yeah, so thank you for stopping by, but I don't think you're going to find what you're looking for here.
Yeah. Grimm's Toy Show.
Grimm's Toy Show. Yeah, oh, man. Did you ever watch him?
No, I never could get into him.
You know what? When I first started watching wrestling stuff on YouTube, I thought he was the funniest thing in the world. And then I grew up.
Yeah. And then you just grew a brain. No, I'm just kidding. No disrespect to anybody that likes him, but
No, but you know, this is what I'll say about Grimm's Toy Show. I do respect what he does because he does have a niche. He found his niche and he got it. He does it. He works hard too. You can tell he works hard. Um, you know, I'm not gonna trash him at all, but he definitely has an audience. He definitely has a specific audience, and he definitely caters to that audience. No problem at all with him. What he does, I respect him. You know, good on him for actually wanting to actually make a wrestling promotion. You know, I respect everything that he does, but he's not my thing. You know, like he's not anymore. You know, I back when he used to do his wrestling figure videos where he would do funny stuff like that. That was something that I enjoyed uh, for the time. But this kind of stuff, there's a lot of distasteful things that he does on his programming, or you know that he talks about, and you know it's not for me. I'm not going to trash you if you like Grimm's Toy Show, um, you know, but you know it's definitely not my thing.
Right. I never got into him. Just yeah.
And you know what? I like the thing is like he's like I think he's genuinely just he loves the product. And I know he does. You know, he genuinely loves wrestling. He genuinely loves to perform and make people laugh. He doesn't necessarily make me laugh.
Yeah. Or it's except for when he, you know, until he calls Nia Jax fat.
And that's the thing, because I'm like, you know, something that I'm going to say about that is that, like, you know what, own who you are, Grim. You know, like, don't like be the little sick, like, you know, scolded puppy that you were when you got called out by that. Just own it. Admit that that's your style, and that's cool. You know, like just do what you need to do. But like, what I didn't like that he just kind of like backed off because he got called out. You know.
Right. At least he didn't try to like defend it. Listen, even if that's true, even if what he said is true, it's like it's just what's the point anyways? So what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. I
yeah.
care more about wrestling ability than anything else.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, you know what? Grim does a lot of things that I like. Like you could tell he really does genuinely like his fans, and like because you know he's done videos where he showed up at like his fans' birthday parties and stuff like that, and that's awesome. Because like imagine if you're you know a loyal fan of a YouTube channel and they throw you a whole birthday party based on it, and then that YouTuber shows up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he's done like great stuff.
What's his finisher?
Oh, I don't know what his finisher is.
Off the top rope Canadian Destroyer. Dude, can you imagine him doing that? Man.
All I remember is that he had a friend named Doo-Hop who did the Doo-Hop drop.
The Doo-Hop drop?
Doo-Hop drop. I can't remember what Grimm's finisher was, but yeah, the Doo-Hop drop. And but yeah, I mean, like they're kind of what I liked watching Grimm's videos was I liked to watch his when he did the wrestling figure federation that he had, which was funny, and he also did a lot of videos where he met wrestlers, like where he would go to conventions and there'd be funny moments. I might link you some of them because like you know that's probably stuff that you'd watch is just like you know wrestlers and stuff, not like you know his federation or
right.
Like yeah, I mean like that was awesome because he would do some really cool stuff there. But you know that's yeah, I'm not gonna crap on Grimm because I genuinely believe he's a good guy.
You have a soft spot for him.
I do because like I mean he's from Jersey too, you know, so and he used to go all the Philly shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, Don just said that his finish was the Grimm ending, which is like the move that Wade Barrett did and Luke Harper did.
Oh, okay. So pretty safe move.
Yeah. Oh, so it's kind of like
hammer.
Is that kind of like the black hole slam that Abyss did?
Well, no, I thought he was talking about like the discus lariat.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, like the ball. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, I know what that move is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's right. Because when he said Barrett, at first I was thinking of that stupid finish he did where he gets the dude up on his.
Oh, what was it called? Was it the overdrive?
It was you know what I'm talking about, where he takes him, he puts him in a fisherman's carry, and then
exactly. And he does like a little torque thing,
like a slam.
Yeah.
Like a What is that called? I can't even remember now.
Oh God, now I gotta look it up. I gotta look up Wade Barrett. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Barrett Barrage. No, just kidding.
Yeah. I'm trying to. It was called the. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's. Oh, you're gonna say it, and then I'm gonna remember it. End of Days.
No, that's
Yeah, but that's Corbin's, but it was Wasteland. Yeah, I knew it was something. It was end or Wasteland, like End of Days, Waste. This kind of goes hand in hand, right? That's right. Wasteland. See, Don's got all the information for us.
Right, Don's like the producer.
Yeah, he's our moderator. Yeah, but Wasteland. Yeah, I didn't like that finisher. It was kind of a, because it's kind of just like the dude falls off his back, like.
Yeah, it's not very good.
At least with the AA, John Cena's move, at least he like
it looks good
up into the air and gets some height and like goes down with him, and slams him. Like Wade Barrett's move, he just kind of like tosses him off a little. You know what I mean? Yeah. Damn, this is a random ass show. First, we're talking about our background and how we got into wrestling, and now we're talking about Wade Barrett's Wasteland finisher. I kind of like that aspect of it, though.
Read a few fortunes. I'm just kidding.
And read a few fortunes, yes.
So Trenton, there's a post right now on the WWE Reddit. Good Wrestling Podcast.
Uh-huh.
And people asking for a good wrestling podcast. Should I drop us?
Yes, absolutely. You absolutely should. Even though we're not like big at all.
Yeah. Well, this guy says he's got a 30-minute commute to work. I think he's a little bit over his head if he wants to.
Oh yeah.
Listen to. I mean, he would have a whole week worth of stuff,
Yeah.
For us.
Right now, this is going about an hour and 20 minutes.
Really, that's it?
Yeah. This feels like it's been man. Our Raw and SmackDown reviews, I don't know how those get longer and longer by the week.
Yeah, I don't know. And the funny thing is, last week's did not feel as long as the week before.
Think so. I thought it was way longer. Because the first episode was, what was it, an hour and 2 minutes long? And the second episode was 2 hours long. And then the third episode was 2 hours and 27 minutes long. So like, I don't know how we keep outdoing ourselves. It's probably meme, honestly. Like, because actually, I think I told this to you. I made for the third episode, I wanted to take more notes about the matches because I noticed like during the other shows that I didn't really talk a whole lot about the matches that would happen. So I took more in-depth notes about the actual action that was going on.
Yeah.
But then, like, I think that just kind of helped elongate it. So,
well, Don just posted, "What's our favorite WWE match of all time?"
Oh man,
I would like to take this one first.
Damn, these are hard questions.
Unless you want me to do it.
I think I'm terrible with favorites. I always have to say like more than one. What are your favorites?
Okay, so I'm going to give you one NXT and one WWE. Okay. My favorite NXT match, even though there's like, I'd say 10 contenders for favorite NXT match, I'm going to have to say Bayley versus Sasha and NXT TakeOver 2.
Uh-huh.
That one had everything. There was near falls, the babyface winning, Bayley finally getting that title. It was a big moment. And I just remember watching it with Don, and I was just floored at how well both those women. And it went on. It was the main event. They blew it out of the water. They did everything that they had to do, and it was perfect. I could watch that match right now. That's how much I love that one.
Right.
And then for the WWE match, and this is going to sound cliche because everybody says this, but Taker versus Shawn at WrestleMania 25.
That's what I was going to say as well for one of them.
Yeah, because I mean that's the first time I ever watched WWE and actually thought I was watching like the most important match in the history of like ever. Like it had that gigantic big fight feel, and it just kept swelling and swelling and swelling, and it was at a fever pitch for like 10 minutes straight.
Right. And it obviously gave that iconic Taker look when Shawn kicked out the tombstone. When he's like resting his face on Shawn's like thigh, you know?
Exactly.
He looks gobsmacked, which everyone else was. I was gonna say that and Mankind and Taker in the Hell in a Cell match, where he gets thrown off the top. Like,
yeah, I mean that wasn't very much of a match.
no, it was. It took a while to get going for sure, but just the whole like, just all of it was just crazy. Like, how the hell does he do it? You know, like how does Mankind get up after all that? It's insane. Like Mick Foley is a champ, and yeah, what else? Also, I think another one of my favorites is Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in the Triple Threat at Mania for the title.
Well, you can't mention that one anymore.
Yeah, I got to redact that one. So actually, that's kind of a good conversation, like because for the longest time, like my favorite wrestler ever was Chris Benoit, but then I was like, I got to pick a new favorite wrestler because that can't be Benoit.
You can't. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Right. Like as a wrestler, he's still one of my favorites, but like he can't be my favorite. So honestly, if you're gonna ask me who my favorite wrestler of all time is, I can't really answer. You know, like I don't know, Chris Jericho maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to come up with that sometime. We'll have to really think about that. And well, I don't know about you. Who's your favorite of all time, if you have one?
Favorite of all time. That's tough. Just because yeah, I don't know. I mean it might be Cena just because like he was just my guy from that long. Yeah, probably Cena.
Really, of all time?
Yeah, of all time. I mean, I didn't really grow up with like The Rock and Steve Austin and like those guys. Like those that was before my time. And I mean like I said before, you know, we're I'm not a huge Austin guy. So, you know, then The Rock kind of like ruined a lot of his stuff with when he came back, so
Right. Vince McMahon, my favorite.
shame.
Yeah, he is the best in the world after all.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I guess maybe by default, my favorite when I don't think about anything is maybe Chris Jericho, but I can't think of anything else.
I mean, I think that like Chris Jericho, like he's one of those guys who can reinvent himself like so many times.
Yeah. Yeah, because every time he comes back it's fresh and new, and I watched Wrestle Kingdom 13, as you know, live, which I'm apparently a mark for. I'm a big mark, and according to Vince Russo. And by the way, I did not get up to watch that show. I woke up at around 2 in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. So I stayed up, as you do, when you don't got anything going, you don't do anything, you just stay up. And I saw on Twitter that it was going to be on, so I went, what the hell? I'll watch it. I'll watch it live. So I found a stream of it online and watched it. And Chris Jericho had this amazing match with Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP IC title. It was no DQ, and Jericho lost the title, but he's 48 years old and he's still awesome, Who do you know anybody else who at that age is still awesome? Like awesome. Not obviously everybody with age goes down a little bit, of course, but he's still very capable of amazing matches. Like, not even Taker can say that. And Taker's one of my favorites of all time. And not even Taker can do that, Jericho is like so good.
Well, I'm just looking at the chat. Don is blocked by Kalisto on Twitter. He doesn't know what he did. Don actually loves Kalisto. He's one of his favorite wrestlers. But I just think it's funny that Don somehow got blocked by Kalisto.
Yeah. How the hell did that happen? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Weird. I don't think I'm blocked by anybody. That's kind of a weird. You know what? People always think it's cool when they're blocked by somebody famous,
Yeah.
Like, I'm blocked by so-and-so, and I'm like, why is that a cool thing?
Well, I mean, do you want to be blocked by somebody?
Not especially.
Oh. I was going to say, all you need to do is just mention Black Rain to Goldust, and he will block you.
Yeah. All you got to do to get blocked by Goldust is just fantasy book, and he'll tell you that your opinion means jack shit.
What about Road Dogg? Can we get blocked by Road Dogg?
Probably, for the same reasoning. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of goes into what we were going to talk about with social media and stuff.
Yeah, our original topic was going to be wrestlers on social media, but we kind of just scrapped that idea and we're just like, oh, let's just bullshit. Which I think actually went a little bit better because I kind of like not having an agenda. Obviously we're going to have our if you like structure, you can listen to our other
reviews.
Our other reviews. Also, Emily, my girlfriend just commented, my dad blocked me in life. So
Don commented, sex has blocked me, and I didn't even do anything. I tell you what you did. You're you.
Oof.
Burn. Sorry, dude.
Sorry,
dude. My bad. I kid. Right? I don't know anything about it. I don't know. I have no room to talk either anyways.
Hey, at least you got a haircut. That's important.
That's true. I got a haircut. I had long hair for actually a couple months ago. I got my hair cut a little bit, but it was still kind of long. But at that point, a couple months ago, the last haircut I had ever got was April of 2016.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just saying, you definitely look a lot better with the shorter hair. It's definitely going a long way for you, I believe.
Thanks.
Also, Emily wanted me to tell everybody that she got a haircut too. So, and she did it herself.
That's true.
But yeah, so I definitely think that's gonna help, especially because everyone's gonna be on us because everyone loves the Fortune Tellers podcast.
Yeah, we have 2 likes and 4 dislikes. I wonder what the 4 dislikes came from. Probably people thinking this was a actual tarot reading.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry if you did.
Actually, you know what? The old title and episode probably would have not had this much talk of tarot readings because it was specifically like the title was about wrestling and stuff, right?
Social media.
Yeah. So, damn. I don't know how much longer we're going to do this. I actually kind of like this because it's just kind of fun sitting back and
relaxing. Honestly, I would not be opposed to just this being the format, with reviewing parts of SmackDown and Raw. I mean, like maybe if someone's looking for an exact, you know, you know, thing,
Right.
or I mean, we could just do this as a once a week thing, like just as a, you know,
Yeah.
as opposed, I mean,
Like on the
I think it
weekends.
would, yeah. I mean, also, I think it would go a long way in keeping our episodes shorter too. So
That's true. This episode is 94 minutes long.
actually, I think that's probably a good place to leave it off then.
Think
Uh,
so? Yeah, it
yeah,
is kind of getting late. You got work in the morning, and I don't do anything, so I don't got work in the morning. And I went to bed yesterday. Actually, today I went to bed at like 7:30 a.m. and I got up at like 6 p.m. So I slept forever throughout the day.
yeah. I mean, I took a nap in the middle of the day, but I mean, like you said, I still got work in the morning, so I will cut. We'll call this off, and then let's do a bit better job of actually naming the episode next time.
Yeah. If anybody is watching this for the wrestling and actually being fans of our show, we'll be back on Wednesday, I
Yeah,
guess,
and you can
doing the
follow us
shows.
on Twitter at PodTellers,
Yes.
POD Tellers. And I do apologize to anyone here who was looking for tarot readings. We did.
Actually, you know what? I think after this is uploaded, you can change the title, right?
I probably can. So yeah, you know what? Let me see if I can do that after we're done. But thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much.